But we got the greenhouse finally sort of back to order. We got the cover back on and support in. I sort of tweaked my back out Saturday. Compost hasn't started heating yet. From what I've read, to get compost to start up, it's hard to get it to go in cold. And it says it needs more green matter, which you don't have a lot of green matter, but I got a lot of manure. So I'm guessing that's enough. But anyhow, it was really tough getting this plastic back on because it was cut to size last time. So, you know, there's some spots that are going to have to be retweaked. And I'll get the ends put on today. And I'm also going to go out and get some maple trees tapped. So I'll show that. I'm only going to do a couple of them this year. But as far as maple syrup goes, if you have a maple tree in your yard that's at least, I think it's 12 inches around, you can tap it and make your own. But I'll show you that process. I couldn't tell you a sugar maple from any other kind of maple. I just tap maple trees and they work. Maybe a sugar maple gives you more sugar or higher concentration of sugar. I don't know. I never really worried about it. I just tap maple trees and it works, and it makes maple syrup, and it's pretty good maple syrup. But anyhow, I'll show you that, and then we'll get this end put on, both ends put on, and getting some more of these. I got a lot of finishing touches to put in. I just sort of use a screw with a little collar on it to attach this plastic to this PVC. It holds pretty good. I mean, it's pretty sturdy. And then it's attached. Those PVC pipes are attached to this wood frame, and they're sitting on wrought iron spikes that are in the ground. So it takes a pretty good wind to knock it down. And one of the reasons I have it on this side of the house is because the wind really gets cutting out of the north here. Comes across this field right here. So I let that Chinese privet grow. Slows the wind down. I tried it on the other side, but man, the wind would just rattle it. Dang near tear it down. If I use something different like cattle, that cattle fencing, they make them out of that, but this was cheap. I think it cost me $22 or something like that for the PVC pipe. The cover cost, I think it was 50 bucks. Might be more than that. I forget. It's been so long ago. But you can't just use regular. You have to use greenhouse, because otherwise the UV light. I tried just using regular Visqueen. It lasts a year, but the UV light will tear it up. So anyhow, we'll get back when we get when I set up those maple taps. Okay, we're going to tap some trees. Here's some of the stuff you'll need. You can buy these online, pretty cheap, pretty easy to use. I just take a milk cap, milk jug. It's got to be that kind of a cap, the kind that click on. And an empty milk jug. Put it inside the milk jug, and that cap just clicks on. And then we're going to hang this on the tree. And that's, of course, you're going to need a maple tree. So make sure you know what the maple tree is in the spring or summer, and then mark it so that you can remember. But I got a bunch of maples. There's a big one right there. I got tons of them in here. But this one here is close to the house. I don't have a cordless drill, so I have to use my drill that has a cord, so I just do one here close to the house. But we're going to drill a hole in here. We're We're gonna get this attached to the tree, and these will probably need empty twice a day. And you want to do this in right as it stop being freezing. Our last freeze is when I should have done it back about the 27th of February, when it started to warm up. The sap starts flowing. I don't do it before when it's sub-zero. It's just too cold. And I might not get as much as usual, but that's okay. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. If you was in a situation where you know, well, our political atmosphere right now is pretty bad, and things could get pretty bad. So this is just a way, if you got a maple tree around, get this stuff, stash it away, and you can always make maple syrup, which is something you could trade, or it's just good to eat. It's not that hard to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my phone down and drill a hole. You need a drill bit that'll fit. You need a drill bit that'll fit that tap. It's 5/16 or something around there. You don't want it too big, you don't want it too small, and you want it about 1.5 inches deep. So I put a piece of tape on there to measure it. And you want to go about chest height, you know, waist 4 or 5 feet up the tree, and you want to drill at a slightly up angle. We're going to go ahead and get this. Oh, you need some string too. I use nylon string so it doesn't stretch too much. I'm going to go ahead and put this phone in my pocket, and I'll do some drills and hook this one up, and then I'll show you what it looks like. I got a hole drilled. It's already leaking sap, but you just put that in there. It's hard to do this one-handed. I'm going to try. And just tap this in. Don't hit it too hard because these are plastic. Just want a good seal. And then you can see this is already dripping sap. See that? Let it drip. All right, then you hook the milk jug on it, handle inwards, and then we're going to wrap some string around it and pull it tight so it hangs there. All right, there it is. It's pretty simple. When you hang your rope, don't give this any slack because it's going to get real heavy. I pull the string a lot higher in the back, and I pay attention the first couple days, or the first, few hours. It might go like it might drain, it might collect sap real quick. In other words, it'll fill to the top and start pouring out on the ground. So you need to have a good clean bucket and a place that you can refine it. In other words, what you're going to do is you're going to put it in a pan and you're going to boil it and reduce it. And you just reduce. Small amounts. If you don't have a wife or someone who likes their kitchen a lot, small amounts, you can do it on the stove in your kitchen. But the residue from maple syrup in a house is sticky. And if you do a lot of it, it can really make a mess inside your house, sticking on everything. So keep that in mind. I'll show you another way you can build a little rocket stove. I'll build one of those and show you a way you can do it outside. You just need a lot of wood, and it's a all-day event because you got to keep that thing boiling. You can use a turkey pan when you do it outside. It has a wider surface area. It'll boil down quicker. I just use a stock pot, and you could actually make a jumper, take your stove outside if you're capable of doing something like that. Jump your stove, plug it in on the outside and just do it outside on electric stove. I might show that too. A jumper cable is real easy. It's just a cable with a plug on each end to fit the corresponding plugs. It's like a big 220 extension cord. But that's just some of the ways you can do it. But you reduce, and I'll show you that as we go. You reduce the maple syrup till it's down to the consistency you want. And there's a couple people who say, when I first started doing this, you do it down to the point of